Hi everyone, Dean here. Someone asked me, I think on a post a little while ago, about my microphone setup for my drum kit recording. So I'm just going to have a quick run through and show you what I'm using. I do change different mics here and there, but there's a few things like my tom mics that stay the same. But I love experimenting with it, and it is something that I can't believe how much I do enjoy it, but it's so much fun to try different things and experiment. So hopefully what I show you helps you experiment in different ways as well, even if it's just placing it in a different spot or trying something that's unconventional, because, you know, I'm just trying stuff. I haven't gone to recording school or done anything like that, so I just see what happens, and it's so much fun. So anyway, let's start. So on my snare, I'm going to pick up the camera and we'll go through it. So on the snare is an SM57, but a modified one. So this is an open plan recording modification inside this SM57. It's the inside of the transformer has been replaced by a custom-made transformer. I'll leave the details of how to contact Open Plan Recording in the notes. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, and I have done a video on this particular mic as well, doing some comparisons. So that's the top at the moment, and I do experiment. I do change things on the top mic here and there, but at the moment that's what I'm using. Underneath, this is a bit of a weird one. This one here is very similar to a Beyerdynamic N201. It's kind of the poor cousin, if you want to kind of compare it to something. The outside looks exactly the same, but this is a Revox M3500. I don't know whether the camera will focus on that there. So it's a higher ohm mic, 600 ohms, and so it's compared to the M201, it's a little thinner sounding, hasn't got quite as much fatness as the Beyerdynamic M201, but still a really nice mic, a dynamic mic, and because it's a bit thinner, I thought maybe it's better underneath the snare, and it's working really well under the snare just to give a bit of sizzle. And I've seen with the position that it's in there, I've got it so the rear is facing the bass drum just so it rejects it a little bit. And, you know, I don't know if that's good or not, but everyone's got their ways of doing it, and it's working so far. So that's the bottom snare. Top of the tom. So here we've got the MD441s on the, let me see if I can adjust the brightness here. All right, so MD441s on the tops of all the toms, and they're the U5 version, so they're from the 1980s, and they're beautiful. I have tried the modern versions of the MD441s, and I just like these better. They have something more about them. That's all I can say. All right, so you can see I'm still set up here with a pretty weird drum setup from my last little video that I made. Okay, so overheads. At the moment, I've got these beautiful, these are my pride and joy, the Tube C12s and the Ultralux version of Open Plan Recording C12s, and they are handmade one-to-one replicas of the original C12s, the AKG C12s, made by Mark Corrego. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but I probably didn't. And it's a company called Open Plan Recording. He does all sorts of clone microphones, and he obviously did the snare mic as well. And so I've got a pair of those above the kit, and this one is right above the snare, pretty much in line with the snare. And the other one's pretty much almost right above the 14-inch floor tom. So they are beautiful microphones. Bass drum. So with the bass drum, we have a very strange combination, and I've just been mucking around trying different things. That is an EV664, just off axis, pointing at the bass drum skin. So that's on the top side of the bass drum skin. At the bottom, I've got a Beta 52, a Shure Beta 52, and I think it looks like that's even moved too close since I've last had a play. So that's right down the bottom of the bass drum skin. In the hole is an RE320, and that picks up a nice combination of low end and attack. And inside the bass drum, pointing at the batter side about here, pointing it about there, is a Audix D6 on a Kelly shoe mount. So yes, crazy, 4 bass drum microphones. One more thing, on this side we have, right behind where I'm sitting, this vintage, this is a 633A Western Electric microphone. Can't really see properly. So this is, I think probably from the 40s or 50s. So Western Electric 633A, and that is an Omni mic, and that's right behind me, so I blend that in sometimes. And a bit of an experimental microphone inside a galvanized pipe. Yep, weird. So this is inside the other end of this pipe, pointing down the pipe, is a Shure SM77 dynamic microphone. And I just muck around and see what it sounds like as I blend and mix things in. Okay, so now we'll go to the other side of the room and I'll show you the room mics. Okay, so these are what I use as my rear room mics, and we're probably about 4 meters away from the back of the drum kit. These are 2 EV635A Omni dynamic mics, pointing left and right. They're almost right near the back wall. Sorry, it's really dark, but you get the idea. And I've just got them right near each other, left and right, so I'm trying to avoid any phase problems with these rear mics. I did use one of these back here for a long time, and then recently I just thought I'll experiment with stereo. So that's it. All right, so that's the setup at the moment. I do experiment, I change things a lot. Well, not a lot, but bits and pieces like that rear one behind me, I'll change that and see what happens. I'll add a hi-hat mic occasionally. So I've got another set of open plan recording KM84 clones, the Ultralux versions of those, and they are magnificent. So I'll use them on hi-hat sometimes, and I'm going to, in future, I'm going to do some comparison with those microphones on snare as well, and even probably on toms, so that's to come in the future. But I just thought I'll give you a quick rundown of what I'm using at the moment and experimenting with. So thanks for watching. See ya.